And we are live. Welcome back for night 3. Come on in, TikTok. 3, 2, 1. Welcome. If this is your, what is this, Thursday? If this is your third night, let us know in the chat how many times you've attended. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I decorated for you all. Let's welcome Instagram. Let's see. Okay, welcome Instagram. Welcome to night 3. Let us know in the comments what city you're joining us from. Tonight, we're going to continue our conversation from yesterday, the 6 advanced accounts for wealth building. Yesterday, we talked to you about where to put your money. Now we're going to talk about how to create wealth. We covered your 6 foundation courses, 6 foundation accounts. Those were the basics. Where to put your money. Type 1 in the chat if you were here last night. And type 2 if this is your first time. If you missed it, the replay is already available on YouTube and LinkedIn. Same for tonight. You can find it there. We covered personal and business checking accounts, how to separate your money properly, savings account. This is your emergency fund. We talked about how far out you should plan for that emergency. Your high yield savings account, how to make that emergency fund work for you. Money market account, how much you need to even get started. This is really great to have business reserves. And then the benefits of having a credit union account. Better rates, better service, and sometimes a lot easier to get a loan. Go watch that if you missed it. After we're done here tonight, welcome. If this is your first night, put a 1 in the chat. If this is your second night, put a 2 in the chat. If this is your third night, put a 3 in the chat. Let me know what city you're joining us from. What I want you to understand is you don't need to be rich to start investing. You don't need $10,000 sitting around. You don't need to wait until you have enough money. That's scarcity mindset. If you're familiar with scarcity, put scarcity in the chat. And that's the mindset that can keep most nurse practitioners stuck, especially nurse practitioner entrepreneurs. So we're going to address that tonight. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Dr. Kimberly Madison, the founder of the Alliance of Cosmetic Nurse Practitioners, which is a professional membership for nurse practitioners who specialize in cosmetics and entrepreneurship. We specialize specifically in skin of color, business acumen, and digital fluency. Because look, when you go to nursing school, you already know there's no dermatology or skin of color. When you go to dermatology, they don't cover entrepreneurship. And when you go to cosmetics, they don't cover skin of color or advanced nursing practice to the degree that our community is demanding. And every day, you're wearing all 3 of these hats. And so we created the Alliance to serve you as one whole person. We're the only organization founded on the 9 pillars of advanced nursing practice. Those pillars are patient care. Everyone gets patient care. We go to patient care school, and after that, it stops. But we also address your personal well-being, your professional development. All week long, we're talking about financial literacy. And actually, in the Alliance, we just started a 6-week intensive on financial intimacy, where we're really digging deep and talking about your relationship with money. We also cover research, policy, media, technology, and of course, business. Those are the 9 pillars of advanced nursing practice. We provide that ongoing mentorship and coaching because look, after you take that weekend course, that on-demand course, or you go back to school, what do you do when you have your next question? Because your first question is never your last question. And we're there to provide that ongoing support because we know that entrepreneurship is lonely. You can get burnt out and overwhelmed really, really quickly. We tend to work in silos and suffer in silence, and that can end right now. So many people we talked about it last night, you spend that $2,000 right up front, and then within 2 to 3 years, you're going bankrupt. And that is completely preventable. Now, there's a lot of people out here who have achieved great success. It's like having a bunch of really good scrimmage games. I love a good scrimmage game. But then I thought, what if we put everyone in one building? Instead of having a bunch of scrimmage games, we could have the Olympics. And I thought maybe I should be the lady who builds the Olympics. So that's how I see myself. And that's how I'm coming to you tonight. Let me know in the comments what city you're joining us from. And let me see those hearts. So see if you can outdo yesterday. They got up to 700 yesterday. I believe in you. I know you can do it. So here's what most of us were told when it comes to building wealth, that we have to save our money first and then invest it. That sounds like the responsible thing to do, right? But here's what's actually happening. We wait. We save a little, something comes up because something always comes up. Car needs fixing, family emergency, equipment breaks, the savings disappear, and we start over and again and again. Something else keeps coming up. We never actually get to the investing part. Type guilty if that's happened to you before. And the truth is, you don't need wealth by you don't build wealth by saving, you build wealth by investing. You have to put skin in the game. Saving is important. We covered that last night with your emergency fund, but saving alone is not going to make you wealthy. Your money needs to work for you. It needs to grow, it needs to compound. And the beautiful thing, you can start with as little as $50 a month, $100 a month. You don't need thousands of dollars. Tonight, we're going to talk about the 6 accounts that can make that possible. Now, let me introduce you to one of our friends, Maya. She's a newer NP. She's very passionate about cosmetics. She wants to get into owning her own business. She's been researching training programs, and everywhere she looks, she sees the same thing you're seeing. Botox certification course, $2,000. Master injectables in 3 days, $7,500. Advanced aesthetics training, $10,000. That's how you get to that $100,000 within the first 12 months that we talked about last night. That's an average. That's not a made up number. Maya doesn't have $10,000. She's still paying off her student loans like you and me. She's working full time at a clinic, making $95,000 a year. She's living paycheck to paycheck. That might come as a surprise to some of you who are desperate to get into NP school, and you think it's going to pay you 6 figures just because you went to NP school. You're going to have to still show up and negotiate for yourself at that table. And Maya, she thinks that she can't afford to get into cosmetics after looking at those prices. Type 1, if you've ever felt priced out as something you wanted to do, and type 2, if you've never felt like Maya. So guess what? She starts thinking, I need to save up money first. Once I have enough saved, then I'll invest in training. Then I'll start building my business. I know you can relate to this. An NP friend of mine told me this very thing this morning. Maya is operating from scarcity. She thinks she needs to have money before she can build wealth. That belief is keeping her stuck. Because the reality is, you don't need $10,000 to start building wealth in the cosmetic industry. You don't need a Botox certification to make money. When you expand that total addressable market, we talked about on Tuesday, when you think beyond that Botox and that filler, there are dozens of ways to build wealth. There's so many problems that need to be solved in cosmetics specifically that have nothing to do with Botox and filler. Alopecia consults, hyperpigmentation protocols, chemical peels, educational workshops. Education is top tier in demand, not only just as clinicians, on the patient side. And you can say, look, there's Google, there's YouTube, there's ChatGPT, and yes, all of those things are true. But at the end of the day, patients will look you in the face and still want to hear what you have to say. We're still the most trusted advice, and people do take our advice. It says it in the data all the time. Advisory roles with skincare brands, not just your big brands. Think about those smaller boutique brands that could really run away with the $5,000 you invest in them. And of course, licensing your intellectual property, all about IP over here. I paid thousands of dollars to get it, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I want my return on my investment. If I'm alone in the chat, let me know. Put IP in the comments if you want to get paid back for everything that you invested when it comes to your education and your training. Maya doesn't see that yet. She's stuck in an employee mindset. I talked to you on Tuesday about the 4 quadrant: employee, self-employed, business owner, and investor. So here's what I recommended to her. I start with just one investment account. That's what I want you to start with. And make small contributions, set up an automatic transfer. Like I said, it could be as little as $100, it could be as little as $50. She started building her wealth while she was building her skills. Let's talk about how she can get started. These are the 6 accounts. First, we have a Roth IRA. This is one of your retirement account options where you can contribute money after taxes have already been paid. Now, why is that important? Because when you retire, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now, and you start using that money, you don't have to pay taxes on it, which are likely to be higher than they are right at the time that you're making that deposit. You won't have to pay on the contributions, not on the growth, nothing. It's going to be tax-free for the rest of the time that it grows. Maya opened up her Roth IRA and she started contributing $200 a month. In 1 year, that's $2,400. She's 28. If she keeps doing $200 a month until she's 65, that account will grow at least 7% annually. That's the average return on the stock market. She'll have $622,000 when she retires tax-free. Now, there's a likely chance that at 28, making $200 a month, that will change. She will likely be able to increase how much she puts into that account. But if she doesn't, and she creates other accounts and diversifies where she's putting her money, that's something to really be proud about. Now, type wow if that number surprised you. Now, here's the rule for Roth IRAs. You can contribute up to $7,000 per year. Every year, you got to look and see what the amount is, whether you're single or whether you're married, and whether you're over the age of 50. You don't get a tax reduction now, but you get tax-free withdrawals later. Type a 1 if you have a Roth IRA, and type a 2 if you don't. If you typed a 2, guess what your homework is? You're going to open up a Roth IRA this weekend. I want you to do it tonight. You still have time. Even if you can only put in $50 a month, start. Open up the tab on your computer. Leave it open until you have time to sit down this weekend, but take one step. Just take one step. Okay, account number 2, this is your traditional IRA. Are you taking notes? Maybe you have on your Chat GPT or your Notion recorder and you're recording this whole session, or you're going to plan to go over to LinkedIn or YouTube and watch it all again. And then you can also play your AI note taker over there. So this is your traditional IRA. This is very similar to Roth IRA, but there's one difference. Write taxes in the comments. So you get a tax deduction right now, but you'll have to pay taxes when you withdraw the money in retirement. So here's how you're going to decide. If you think the tax rate will be lower in retirement, right, use a traditional IRA. You get the tax break now when you're a higher bracket. Maybe you plan to have a job that doesn't pay as much, something that just keeps you busy. If you think your tax rate will be higher in retirement because you're planning to have the big bucks, because you're building wealth and your income is going up, use a Roth IRA. You pay taxes now at a lower rate. Maya chose the Roth IRA because she's early in her career. Her tax rate is lower now than it will be when she's a successful entrepreneur looking for that $10 million exit. Type a 1 if you think your rate will be lower in retirement, or type a 2 if you think it'll be higher. Most NPs building their businesses should use Roth IRAs because if you're doing this right, your income's going to go up. It's not going to go down. Okay, account number 3, this is your 401k or solo 401k. So if you're an employee, your employer might offer you a 401k. You've probably been told to sign up for that. If they match your contributions, you need to contribute at least enough to get the full match. So if your employer matches 3% and you're making $100,000, that's $3,000 of free money every year. If you're not contributing enough to match, you're leaving money on the table. Type of 1, if your employer offers 401k match right now, it's open enrollment season right now. So if you don't know the answer, it should be in your email or readily available from your employer. They can be able to answer that question for you right now. And it's still time for you to buy in. Type of 2, if they don't, then we need to come up with another plan for you, which is especially if you're a traveler. When I was a traveler, the agency I worked for at the time didn't offer it. So I just went and did my own. You can do all of this on your own. No one's going to ever refuse to take your money. Now, if you're self-employed, if you own your own practice, like Maya's looking to do, you can open a solo 401. This is powerful because you can contribute so much more. In 2025, you can contribute up to $23,500 as the employee. And then you can contribute up to 25% of your net earnings as the employer. Total, that's $70,000 per year or $77,500 if you're over the age of 50. Maya doesn't have a solo 401k yet because she's still an employee. But once she launches her consulting business, that's the first thing that she's going to set up. Number 4, this is your brokerage account. For some of you, this is a new vocabulary word. Now, this is where Maya started to understand you don't need to be rich to invest in the stock market. She's finally starting to get it. A brokerage account is just like a regular investment account. No special tax benefits, but also no contribution limits. There's no ceiling, no withdrawal penalties. It means you don't get charged for taking your money out. Total flexibility, well, that's not completely true, but total flexibility. Maya opened a brokerage account with one of my favorites, Vanguard. Now, she linked it to her checking account. She set up automatic transfers, $100 every 2 weeks, every time she gets paid. That's $200 a month going into her brokerage account. And here's what she's buying: index funds. So let's talk about what that is. An index fund is just like a collection of stocks that tracks a specific market, like the S&P. The S&P 500 is the 500 largest publicly traded companies in America. This is your Apple, your Microsoft, Amazon. We love Johnson & Johnson is a huge partner in friendship of nursing, right? And Pfizer, all your big names. Now, when you buy into the S&P 500 index fund, you're buying a tiny piece of all companies at one time. And they're only going to keep the top performing companies in that collection. So if you can say, oh, I don't know which the best one to buy, I don't feel confident, I don't have enough financial literacy, I don't know which one to trust, I don't know what to expect. What you can expect is that they're only going to keep the top performers in that collection. So as long as you are investing in the top, in that S&P 500, you'll always be investing in the top performing companies. Even when the market goes down, they're still at the top. Now, what history has shown us is that over a long period of time, and that's what you're going to hear, we want you to sit it and forget it. Set your money there. Don't go back and forth letting your emotions or the market fluctuate and get you scared and pull your money out. The S&P has averaged 10% annual returns. We talked about returns last night. On your savings account, it's a 0.1, 0.2%, right? But when you get into that high yield savings account, now you can see anywhere from 4 to 5. I think I told you last night, Investopedia said right now it's about 3.8. Still way better than that savings account, and way better than your mattress. So after inflation, it averages around 6 to 7%. So over the course of time and over the course of the last 100 years, that has been consistent. So yes, the market goes up and down, but when we average it out, it's been that 6 to 7%. And so when you keep your money there, you can expect to see that kind of return. So Maya isn't buying individual stocks. She's not trying to time the market, because you can never time the market. You just want to have time in the market. And the faster you get time in the market, the sooner you make that investment, you're already on your way, just like Maya. So she's not buying individual stocks, which you can. She's not trying to time the market, which you can't. She's just buying index funds every 2 weeks automatically. Type 1, if you know what an index fund is, and type 2, if this is brand new to you. Now, the next thing she realized is that she doesn't need $10,000 to start investing. She can start with that $100 or $50, whatever it is she has. The key in investing, just like in business, you've heard me say it every day: stay consistent and persistent. Your business will grow, and so will your investment account. And that's why setting things up and making them automatic is one of the best things you can do. When I was transitioning from being a traveler to being an NP, I was off for about 3 months. And that's pretty average. Some of you get really surprised that you graduate, take boards, and then it takes a few months for you to get your first job, because so much is happening. Anyway, on average, 3 to 4 months before you get hired. And then you got to think, you still got to go through orientation. You got to start working. You got to get that first check. So you really want to think ahead. And while I wasn't working, I had my automatic investments still going. And I'm so, so glad I did. Because had I had to think about it, I would have made decisions based on scarcity. Well, what if I don't get this job right away? What if I don't get paid enough? And I would have stopped that investment. And now when I look in that account, I'm so happy. One of the best decisions I didn't have to make. Now, the key is consistency, not timing, not picking the perfect stock. You don't need to be able to do that, not to get started. Just showing up every month and investing. That's called dollar cost averaging. And we're going to spend all our time tomorrow talking about that. Now, account number 5, this is HSA. You've all heard of this one. This is your health savings account. This is one of the most underrated wealth building tools out there. If you have a high deductible health plan, and a lot of us do, especially if you're a traveler, a lot of those agencies only offer high deductible plans. You can open an HSA. I'm so glad we're talking about this right now, because open enrollment, I didn't even plan it like that. But don't you love it when your plans don't work out as good as God's plans? So this is why this is powerful. Triple tax advantage. You get a tax deduction when you contribute. Number 2, the money grows tax-free. And number 3, you can withdraw it tax-free for qualified medical expenses. It's like a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA had a baby. You get the best of both worlds. So if Maya contributes $300 a month to her HSA, within a whole year, she can have $3,600. That's just under the limit for 2025 of 4,300 for individuals. And you always want to check this because it can change depending on what year you're talking about. Now, here's what most people get wrong. Most people use their HSA like a checking account. They contribute the money, they get a doctor's bill, and they use HSA to pay for it immediately. If that's you, put yes, that's me in the comments. I want you to reconsider. It's not wrong, but maybe there's another way. So here's what Maya is doing now, okay? She's paying for her medical expenses out of her pocket. She keeps every single receipt, every doctor or NP/PA visit, all her prescriptions, all her dental work, vision care. She scans all of them and she saves them in a digital folder, and she lets that HSA grow. She's investing the money inside her HSA, just like the brokerage account, just like we were talking about with her Vanguard account. So this could be her index funds, the S&P 500. And the brilliant thing about this is that the IRS says that you can reimburse yourself for medical expenses at any time in the future. There's literally no limit. So Maya is paying $150 for a doctor's visit today out of her checking account, the account we talked about yesterday. She keeps her receipt, she stores it digitally. She's not assuming she's going to keep up with some paper folder. 20 years from now, when she's 48, still young, she can pull that receipt out and reimburse herself $150 from her HSA, tax-free. And in the meantime, that $150, it's growing in the stock market for 20 years, that 6 to 7% return on investment that we just talked about. Or if she never needs the money for medical expenses, after age 65, the HSA works just like that traditional IRA. She can withdraw it for anything. She just pays regular income tax, no penalty. Type genius if that made sense to you. This is one of the most powerful wealth building accounts you have access to, and most people aren't using it that way. Type 1 if you have an HSA, and type 2 if you don't. Now, if you have a high deductible health plan and you're not maxing out your HSA, you're leaving money on the table. Last account, this is our simplified employee pension IRA. This is for those of you who are self-employed people or small business owners. So that should be most of you. Now, if you have your own practice, you can contribute up to 25% of your net earnings with a maximum of $70,000 in 2025. This is powerful if you have a high income year and you want to reduce your taxable income. Sometimes making more money doesn't always look good to Uncle Sam. Maya doesn't have Thanks, TikTok. So Maya doesn't have she doesn't have this kind of IRA yet because she's still an employee. But once she launches her consulting business, she starts making up to $150 to $200K. This is how she'll shelter a big chunk of that income from taxes and lower what she's reporting as her income. Now, if you have this self-employed IRA, put a 1 in the chat, and if you don't, put a 2. So these are the 6 accounts that we went over tonight. Roth, this is your Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401 or solo 401, your brokerage account, Vanguard's just one example, HSA, and your self-employed IRA. Now, here's what Maya learned, and hopefully you did too. She doesn't need $10,000 to start building wealth, friends. She doesn't need to wait until she has enough money. That time for perfection, just like waiting for your business for the right time, there's never going to be a right time. Now is the time. She just needs to start, just like you need to start. 50 a month, 100 a month, whatever you can manage, because wealth isn't built in one big move. It's built in a small, consistent actions over time. And tomorrow we're going to go even deeper into that dollar cost averaging. This is strategy. And we're going to cover the top 3 stocks and ETFs in the beauty and healthcare industries that you can start investing with as little as $100. That's tomorrow around this time. Having the right accounts doesn't make you wealthy, okay? Your relationship with money does. And that's why next week I'm hosting the money workshop. It's going to give you a peek inside the Alliance, what we do there every week. You can have all 12 accounts set up perfectly. But if you're operating from scarcity, if you think you need to have money before you build wealth, you're still going to struggle, because we're not just building personal wealth. We're not even just building generational wealth. What did we talk about last night? Dynastic wealth, right? It goes a lot deeper and a lot further than generational wealth. Still very important, but just a different perspective. And we're not just going to teach you how to make a paycheck. We're teaching you how to build that dynasty. I'm going to host that workshop on December 16th, 19th, and 21st, 3 live sessions, because we know anytime you listen to something, when our patients listen to us, they only remember 30% of what we said. That's why you need to have an advocate for you. And that's why you need to attend all 3 sessions. So by the end of the week, you'll have most of what we're talking about. You pick a time that works best for you. If you want a link, just DM me a link and I'll send you the link to register. It's completely free. And if you sign up, as long as you sign up, you'll get access to the replay. And if you attend live, you'll get a workbook. So you don't even have to write notes. You don't even have to use your AI taker. We'll send you the workbook directly to your email so you can start taking action. Isn't this the time of year that you want to take action? You think about the goals that you set at the beginning of the year, and now you're looking back and you're just thinking of all the things you didn't do. Well, now you don't have to do that. Now you can get started with strategy. No more guessing, no more hoping, no more wishing. You can actually use strategy that's working, that's proven strategy, evidence-based, just like we do with our patients. Now, number 1, your homework. If you don't have a Roth IRA, you're going to open one this week. Go open the tab right now. So when you go back this weekend to sit at your computer, the tab's already open waiting for you. Even if you can only contribute $50 a month, just get started. If your employer offers 401k match and you're not getting the full match, increase that contribution before open enrollment ends, which, as far as I know, it's tomorrow. If you have a high deductible health plan, and you're not using it as an HSA, open one and start using it like Maya. Pay your expenses out of pocket, keep the receipts, store them digitally, and let that thing grow. And number 4, register for the money workshop. DM me and I'll send you the link directly. Bring a friend. Tomorrow night, same time, we're going to cover dollar cost averaging, which is a strategy on how you can build that wealth. I want to thank you all for watching. Let's see what kind of comments we have here. Hey, Henry, thanks for coming. These names are so creative. I don't want to butcher them. And so I'm not even going to try. And let's see. Oh, there we go. Old Mama. Hi. Simona. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Remember, you can catch this replay and all the replays from all week on YouTube and LinkedIn. For some reason, I cannot figure out how to get the replay live on Instagram or TikTok. So you can go over to LinkedIn and YouTube. On YouTube specifically, I drop new videos live every week on Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Central. We have our playlist for aesthetic NP entrepreneurs. All the questions that you're asking, all the questions that are in the group chat, it's there for you. You're asking how to get started. That's the answer. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.